Hello everyone and welcome to another Feed Army video. My name is Emmanuel and today we will be talking about a new change for Shopify related to data sharing. So things like conversion tracking, remarketing tracking, and apps that are tracking details for your store. So first let's have a look at the details on the notes, and that is from January 13th, 2026. So new default settings for marketing pixel data sharing. In order to protect your store from accidentally oversharing data, Shopify will soon default to automatic data sharing optimization that monitors your marketing pixels and only shares data with tools that are driving results for your store. We see many pixels that haven't sent traffic or sales to a merchant in weeks, months, or even years. And this feature is designed to protect your store from that exact situation if you forget to turn off sharing with inactive tools. So they will use different signals to determine if that app should be disabled or not. And it doesn't actually apply to custom pixels. So we'll have a look here. So here we can see now smart data protection is coming soon, and it says Shopify can now constantly analyze your store to only allow marketing app pixels to access required data. Optimized data access is the recommended default, and it will take effect soon unless you switch to always on. And as you can see here, this is now a data column, and you can toggle between always on to optimize. That means if an app has been unsubscribed, for example, but it's still active here, after a while the data will no longer be active in here, because Shopify is then identifying that there's not enough data going to improve your store. So it will start to disable this. And that is what is good, because you don't want to constantly send data to Klaviyo so that they can use it for their own purposes. So you want to disable that. When you go to custom pixels, this is not yet available. I would assume that will be taking effect soon. However, I think that this will be a little bit more difficult for them to do, because they need to be able to look at what data is being collected on the third party. And I believe what the app pixels can do is that Shopify can see that data a little bit more in detail, what is being sent, what is being requested, because it's through APIs instead of custom pixels, which works completely differently. That's my assumption, of course. I don't know how these all work, but that's what I would guess. So if we go in a little bit more detail, so the concern was actually that merchants would assume that all data will start to slow down. Like, for example, partial data will start to appear in, let's say, Google Ads, and then your campaigns will not work as well anymore. But that's not really the case. It's really the case of certain apps are no longer subscribed, and they actually explain it here. So they explain, of course, that there's always on and optimized. So the optimized version setting limits oversharing of customers and business data with your app pixel. When Shopify detects that a marketing pixel is sharing more than it's needed, Shopify can pause some or all data shared by that pixel until relevant activity resumes. You can change the data access settings of an app pixel between always on and optimized at any time, as I shown earlier. So now what we want is actually an example. So the example is you connect your new marketing app to your store and you test it out for a few months. As part of the strategy shift, you stop using it and let the subscription expire, and it's no longer a key tool you rely on for new customers. In the background, the pixel still has access to all of your data until you remember to disconnect it. If that app pixel data sharing setting is set to optimize, then after a long enough period of inactivity, data sharing is paused automatically to protect your business. However, if that app has still driven results for your store and needed data to keep doing it, then even in absence of active use, data wouldn't pause. So my recommendation is then, of course, if you know you want to always use it, for example, Judge Me reviews, then switch it to always on. And when you uninstall apps, make sure that this is also removed. Also periodically check your custom pixels, because sometimes you might no longer use a specific pixel, so it's best to remove it completely because you don't want to send extra data for unnecessary reasons. So here it will then cover what the differences are, so what it does and doesn't. So it reduces unnecessary data sharing for marketing pixels by pausing data when oversharing is detected for a known referrer, such as a marketing channel. Users observe patterns from referring traffic, sales, store settings, campaign settings, and other signals over time to decide when to pause and resume data sharing. It automatically resumes sharing when relevant activity returns, including any referred traffic or new activities sent by the app through the Marketing Activities API. So earlier, as I mentioned, this is one of the main signals that Shopify uses to determine if the app should be active or not active. So disable data sharing or enable it. And that is why the custom scripts can't do that, because they don't have to follow this. But that most likely will change in the future with new technologies. So what it doesn't do is it doesn't block data that marketing tools need to run and deliver results for your business. So for example, Google Ads. It doesn't block data for actively used marketing tools, including those who are currently referring any traffic or sales to your store. So again, like Google Ads. So when, for example, let's say you use Google Ads and all of a sudden no clicks from Google Ads come to your website, then in this case, it will then disable the marketing data. It doesn't block events designed for standalone analytics services, even when a pixel connects an app that has marketing and analytics use cases. So in this case, for example, Google Analytics, in this case, will never be blocked. It doesn't affect webhooks. Webhook delivery continues as expected, as webhooks shouldn't be used for transactional use cases, not marketing. So now you know what you have to be concerned about and what not. So what most merchants will be concerned about is advertising. You don't want to spend a lot of money and then have data missing. Although data is already missing now, of course, because of cookie consent, but you don't want to remove even more data due to what Shopify is doing. So as long as you're having an active Google Ads account, don't worry about missing data. And if you are concerned, simply go to your customer events, go to app pixels, and then change the data setting from optimized to always on. So if you have any concerns about this, I recommend that you contact Shopify, but I believe this is quite clear that you shouldn't be too worried about it, because it refers more to unsubscribing to apps or situations where data is no longer detected from a source like Google Ads to Shopify, and then it automatically disables it. I think this is great as long as you understand what it is doing. The first time that the post was published by Shopify, a lot of people were concerned, oh no, Google Ads, all my data is going to disappear. But that's not the case, so don't worry about that. I hope this video has been helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out or leave a comment downstairs.